Hello my friends, welcome to Anna's Violets. Today I'm going to show you this Ficus Elastica or rubber tree. We're going to talk about light, watering, soil, pot, propagation, fertilizing and cleaning the leaves. Hello my friends, I'm Anna and on this channel we're talking about plants and gardening. So if you like plants, if you like to grow plants, consider subscribing to this channel, click on the bell button, like button, share the video with your friends and let's start. So let me show you this wonderful rubber tree, Ficus Elastica, which is still a small tree because these plants can grow into huge trees. Well, it really depends on the conditions and then you will see the growth will be either slow or quite fast. Well, let's start from the pot. Well, of course, you need to choose any pot that will have good drainage holes. This plant is actually in a plastic pot with drainage holes, and then I also put it in a ceramic pot. All right, as for the soil, use the soil that will be well drained with a lot of perlite, sandy soil. You can use the soil for succulents or cacti. You can use actually a little bit of potting mix, just a little bit, but mostly use cactus soil. Add some perlite, add some vermiculite there, and this way your soil will be well drained. It will get dry pretty easily, and it will be a little bit not so hard, so it will be very light, and it will also have good air ventilation, and the air will be really accessible for the roots. Okay, where to grow? The light. Let's talk about light. So yeah, so many people grow these plants in semi-shade or shade, but they will still grow there, but the growth will be much slower. But if you bring these plants towards the light, very bright light, it can even tolerate a little bit of light, a little bit of direct sun in the morning or in the evening. So not this daytime very burning hot sun, but in the morning or in the evening for a couple of hours, that will be even better, especially this variety. So the variegated ones, maybe you would like to keep always in semi-shade or maybe just in a bright area without direct sun, but these green leaves, this darker variety, which is, I'm afraid, I think it's a burgundy, so they like to see also direct sun as well, just a little bit. So make sure not to burn the leaves of your plant. As for the air humidity, it can grow perfectly well if your air is quite humid or if you have dry air. There will be no problem with that. So you don't need a special humidifier or spray. Of course, it will like more humidity, but if your air is not so humid, it will still feel okay. As for the watering, try to water it thoroughly, but then let the soil dry completely for the next watering. So water only when the soil is dried. Keeping the soil always moist may cause root rot. So to avoid this, try to let the soil dry, completely before the next watering. However, don't let it dry for days or for weeks, because this way the roots will be damaged. And so you can repot your plant maybe every 2 or 3 years, depending on how fast it grows. Make sure that you repot your plant in one size bigger pot, in fresh soil of course, but not directly into a very big one, because this way again the soil will be too much and you may have root rot there. However, if you step by step increase the size of the pot, your plant will get bigger and bigger and bigger, and at one point you will have a huge tree of this plant. And also, if you want to stimulate the growth from the sides, then you can actually cut the top of this plant and you can use this for propagation, and this way the growth will stop from the center and then it will start to grow shoots from other nodes. Of course, you can use this part for propagation. This will be a cutting. And by the way, there have been so many comments and posts on Facebook and Instagram, people showing as if they propagate this ficus from leaf. Well, this ficus can never be propagated from a leaf alone. So just a leaf, if you cut it, it will not be able to produce a new plant. And there are also people showing the leaves in the water, growing roots, as if they show the proof that yes, you can propagate this Ficus Elastica with leaves, but no, you cannot. The roots will grow, very long roots, in the water for a couple of months. The roots can be, I don't know, meters long. However, they will never grow a new plant. So to make sure that you have a proper cutting for propagation, make sure that you cut the leaf, but a little bit with the stem, at least a little bit with the stem, because the new growth will be from between the leaf, and so from the place where the leaf connects to the stem, and from that node the new growth will be growing. So if people are showing their leaf in the soil and as if there is already a small baby is growing, and they claim that they have planted just one leaf, that's not true. Most probably, not most probably, but 100% there was a smaller part of the stem as well, which is under the soil and you cannot see it. It's just the way this plant grows. So you cannot propagate it from a leaf. If you just want a leaf in the water to grow roots, you enjoy the roots, that's fine, but you will not get a new plant from that one leaf. So you will need at least a small cutting with at least one leaf to be able to propagate and to have a nicely growing cutting. By the way, you can, when you cut, you will see the white juice, it's sap. So you can let it dry out for maybe a couple of hours, or you can just dry it out with a napkin. And then you can put it either in water and it will grow roots. It will be really slow, maybe 1 month, 2 months. And then when the roots are quite long, then you can already plant in the soil. Or you can take the cutting and plant it directly in the soil, but this way it may be a little bit harder for you. I always recommend, especially if you're a beginner or if you don't really have the experience of propagating this kind of plants, try first in water. When you see the roots, then you can plant it in the soil. And also the temperature is very important because these plants like warm environments. Well, in summer it will be easy to give them this warm environment. However, in winter, try to keep them in a warm place, but not very close to your heaters, and also not on the windowsill where they can have, you know, the cold coming from the glass of your window. So try to make sure that it's in a very stable, warm place without draft, without cold coming from the window. Or if you open the window even for 5 minutes, this can be already damaging for your plants. So keep it in a corner where you will not have wind, where you will not have wind heater, air conditioning, anything. So stable, warm environment for this plant, and it will grow properly. Another thing that I know that many people are asking, how to have these shiny leaves. Of course, in the stores you can buy some specific sprays that you can spray on the leaves to make them look shinier, but honestly, I have never used them. I do believe that they clog the pores for your leaves to photosynthesize and also to take the humidity. Even though some products may say that they're not clogging the pores, I don't use them. Instead, you can use just a normal napkin. You can put a little bit neem oil in the water and then use this to clean the leaves. So here I have this napkin, which is a little bit damp, and I'm going just to slightly and very tenderly clean the leaves. Don't be too rough to the leaves, not to damage them. So you don't really need to rub them, but just slightly just remove the dust. Well, with the small plants, it's easy to do this. If your plant is huge, then you will have a lot of work to do. However, it's pretty easy to clean the leaves just with water. I don't have even neem oil here. It's just water, and this is absolutely fine. The new leaves will be shinier because the new leaves, the younger leaves, will be very, you know, shiny, dark green. They may even be brown and then they will turn dark green. And the older leaves may lose their shine a little bit, but that's absolutely fine, you know, because this is the normal and natural way of growing plants. We don't need to make them extra shiny or extra, you know, I don't even know why people want these shiny leaves. Most probably, of course, they're attractive, they're more beautiful. But if you remove the dust and your leaves are clean, that's already enough to have a, you know, healthy plant. They don't need to shine for me. Okay, so if you learned anything new from this video, if you liked the video, consider subscribing, click on the bell button, like button, share the video with your friends, and if you have any questions, I will be more than happy to answer them. You can write them all in the comments. And also, you can join my Facebook group, you can connect with me on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest, and let's stay passionate about plants. See you next time!